The topic is on truth, introduction, truth. And the approach I want to take is not to say, okay, here is the truth, accept it, but rather into the very term itself, into the very experience of looking for truth, finding truth. What is the experience? How do we know when we have found truth? How will we know? Okay. All right. So let's begin with meditation. Form the intention that you're going to meditate, and let that intention infuse your entire being. As it infuses your entire being, listen to the different parts of you responding to this intention to meditate. Listen to the intelligence within the physical body. Listen to the advice that it's giving you, cooperative advice. So when you feel the need to make an adjustment, know that it's coming from that communication between you and the intelligence within the physical body, guiding you. So your posture can be as conducive to meditation as possible. Take a moment to scan the posture to make sure it's comfortable and conducive to meditation. That you feel comfort as well as stability. And once you feel a sense of confidence that the posture is indeed conducive to meditation, it feels comfortable, it feels stable, then gently bring your attention to the breath, not seeking to control it, and not seeking to push away any other experiences, any other awareness that may come up. Just as much as you can, let the breath be the center of your attention. So as you breathe in, you simply know you are breathing in. As you breathe out, you simply know you are breathing out. And while you're doing this mere awareness of the breath, continue to relax the body. Continue to allow the body to rest by itself, in itself, without any conscious effort. And notice how the breath is interacting with the body, how the body is interacting with the breath. Eventually, you come to an awareness of the breath where it is slightly shifted in its behavior, slightly different than it was a moment before. It was closer to a sense of calm, closer to a sense of pleasantness. And once you arrive at this, take this as the indication to fully commit to enter meditation. And make this commitment with a conscious deep breath. So staying aware of the calm and the pleasantness in the body and the breath. And even energetically, take a nice deep breath, gently, fully breathe in. Hold for a few seconds, strengthening your determination, strengthening your intention, and release. And as you release, allow yourself to really let go, let the breath go, let the body go, let the mind go, witnessing the signs of calm, enhancing the signs of pleasantness, enhancing, and the signs of clarity slowly arising. through inner sensations. Welcome them. Rejoice that they are there, knowing that there are signs that you are getting closer and closer to your most fundamental state. Noticing the calm in the mind, the breath, and the body. Noticing the pleasantness to whatever measure, to whatever degree that they are there. Again, gently, fully breathe in. Hold. Strengthen determination. Strengthen the clarity of your intention. And release. And as you release, really let yourself go. Let yourself feel yourself going deeper into the calm. Feel yourself going deeper into the pleasantness in the body, in the breath, in the mind. Noticing the signs of clarity getting stronger, the signs of luminosity getting stronger. Notice his focus becoming more and more collected. Rejoice. Knowing the very presence, the very appearance, the very awareness of these signs is an indication that you're approaching closer and closer to your fundamental nature. Rejoice. Again, for the third time, another deep conscious breath. Breathe in, hold, release. Notice the presence of the signs. Rejoice. By the mere presence of these signs, have the confidence of being closer to fundamental, authentic being, and direct your attention for an appearance, for an experience that can take you closer, even a guide, a path. And let compassion be the fuel, let love be the fuel for that experience. And remember physical space itself. And as you remember physical space, let it be a reminder to you there is something beyond concept. In space, the appearance of no appearance whatsoever is a sign, is a indicator of that more fundamental, the before appearance level of reality. So take space as a door itself towards that fundamental reality. And let your mind be absorbed in that, perceiving space, remembering space, and seeing it as a door to something more fundamental, more authentic, pre-appearances. And consider the complete absence of any appearance as an as a sign of you have not yet acclimated to the pure non-appearance. Just like one acclimates one's vision to a dark room so that objects slowly begin to appear, allow consciousness to acclimate to space appearance. Our thoughts, our perceptions, they are sullied by habits of misunderstanding. So we would like an appearance to be an appearance that can directly point to this pre-appearance fundamental state. So with love as your fuel, motivation, compassion as your fuel and motivation, direct your consciousness towards the appearance of pure space, wishing to encounter an appearance that will be, by the mere perception of that appearance, misunderstanding will not, the habit of misunderstanding will not take place. But that by the mere appearance of that, we will have a taste of the fundamental, the pure. And from that pure space, an appearance comes. It is an appearance taken because we're not able to directly yet experience that fundamental space. And through perceiving this appearance, we are making a direct connection. This is the Guru. This is your mind's fundamental nature appearing to you to guide you to see it. Show respect. Show trust. Show gratitude. And this time, the appearance, that pure appearance, will now take your perception, take your consciousness, lead you to have a direct experience. And the way it does that, it slowly takes on the appearance of pure space, becoming pure light, and the light slowly becoming pure space. Stay with it, don't lose it. It's not disappearing, but rather becoming all-encompassing. You get ready to come out of the meditation. Gently, fully take a nice deep breath. Hold, release. And as you release, deliberately reconnect with your immediate surroundings. Be aware of your surroundings through the sense of touch. Be aware through the sense of hearing and through the sense of sight. All right. Again, thank you guys for taking time to showing up. Thank you for keeping this Sangha momentum going. So let's get into the topic. The topic is truth. I know I've said it many times before that this is not going to be just me talking. It's going to be a participation of all of us. And I didn't really quite keep those promises back then. But I promise you this time, that's what it's going to be, okay? It's not going to be just me talking, but rather it's going to be a collaboration of all of us trying to really get through what is this word actually pointing to. And in order for us to begin, I want you to don't just think about, don't just philosophically think about what the word means. Not that you should completely dismiss the philosophers and whoever the practitioners who may have given input, who may have influenced you of understanding that word, but rather go into your emotions. Like when you say, when someone has presented something to you, and then you say that is not true, what is it that is supposed to be that you know that it's supposed to be, and then it's not what it's supposed to be? When you say it is not true, that means somehow you know what it's supposed to be, but it is not what you know it's supposed to be. And when you say, oh, that is true, it matches something. It matches something internally. So there is you could say there is a characteristic about truth that is totally internal. It is not, even though we may have external encounters where we say, oh yeah, I'm encountering truth, but the board that tells us, the validator that tells us that to be able to make that statement, it is true, is something more internal. So you could say we already know the truth, but it is hidden from us. And somehow by relating with someone, with an argument, by relating with a perception, that relating will help us uncover what we already know. And also, the reason for the very topic is not just to go into philosophy, but also I see this is happening a lot. Not happening a lot, but this is a very practical, not just practical in terms of my own personal life kind of thing, but I think it is I would say existential, but I'm not sure if that word existential is the actual word to use for it, but it is very something that is needed in the world, something that is needed always in the world. And I'm not saying it is needed in the world in the sense of the world hasn't been looking for it and we're trying to persuade the world to look for it, but rather not specifically this is true or this is true or that is true or what among the things that are being that are making claims to be the ones that the term should be applied to, but rather, what is it that we are really looking for? What are we really looking for when we are looking for truth? And try not to get too philosophical. I think when we get too philosophical, that's when we lose that that heartfelt search, that heartfelt compulsion that made us begin the search in the first place. We lose contact with it when we go too deep into philosophy. And I think, and when we go too deep into philosophy, that's when we create suffering. We create further suffering. If we all understand, we all have this understanding that there's a power in truth. We all have this understanding that when we make contact with truth, we will be empowered. When we make contact with truth, we will become free from conditions that are unwanted. And it's when we go too much into philosophy, that's when we lose connection to what the term is supposed to be pointing to. We lose connection to that which sent us out, that which sent us on the search. We lose connection with it. And we get into such thing as ultimate truth, conventional truth. And we get into further confusions about thinking, or conventional truth is not really a truth. Ultimate truth is the only truth. There's no such thing as ultimate truth. There are many ultimate truths. There are many truths. So in all those statements, when they all seem to be in conflict with each other. There's no such thing as ultimate truth. There's no such thing as truth. Conventional truth, relative truth, ultimate truth, everybody's your truth, my truth. All these have that one word in common, truth. So what is that itself pointing to? What is it? What is it about the thing that make it a conventional truth? What is it about the thing that make it ultimate truth? What is it about the thing that makes it my truth, your truth? Why are we using just one word, truth? All right, now this is the participation part. Now, I want you to really feel when you are using the word truth, is it true? Is it not true? Is this true? How many truths are there? What is it that your mind is really looking at or looking towards, where truth is the thing that covers it? That somehow there is something that the word is supposed to be pointing to. There's something that the word is supposed to be describing, that if you fully understand the different components, the different parts of the description, and when that thing fits all the parts of the description, then it's, oh, now that's truth. What are those descriptions? And I'll give an example with something that seems to be purely in the realm of abstract. Like truth seems to be something that is purely in the realm of abstract. And it's the word love, right? What is it pointing to? What experience that makes us use that word? And it's not a completely personal word. It's not like I have an experience and I'm calling it love, and you have an experience and you're calling it love. And if you were both of us were to describe it, it doesn't seem to be connected to any of what we each call love. But we are using that term collectively. So is there a common experience that really is descriptive of the word love itself? Like some of the descriptions you could say, like to care for someone's happiness, to sincerely care for someone's welfare, to uh, appreciate someone at a deep level, whether you allow them to be themselves. You're not allowing, you're not wishing them to be something else, but however they are, you are accepting of them. So these are you could say these are the indicators for us to say, oh, love, I fully accept you the way you are. Oh, that's love. No, the way we use the term, I see you, right? That means, oh, that's love. I care for you. I really, your happiness, you being happy is a sincere concern of mine. Oh, that's love. Okay. So in the same way, we're going to do that with truth. Okay. What are the indicators? What are the components that when they are present, we can say, ah, love. I'm not love, sorry, truth. Even though actually they're one and the same, but that's another topic. Okay. All right. So now go into your heart, go into that place where there's a strong sense of you being connected to what it could be truth. What is that? What is it pointing to? And a very simple thing. A very simple way to start this. Are we having a Zoom session? And what's the answer? If I say, no, we are not, is that the truth? So, and then now go into what is it? What is the experience that makes us say, oh yeah, that's true? What is the experience that makes us say, no, that's not true? Go into your heart, look, go into your, really try to feel it, what that word is pointing to. And the reason for this is I'm looking at all the troubles that are going on in the world. Remember, truth is very important to everyone. It is so important to everyone that when someone is convinced that they have encountered all the different components that points to truth, then that person is willing to do whatever it takes for the integrity for what they believe is the truth. Why do different nationalities, different countries go into war with each other? They each believe that they're holding a truth. That land is my land. Because I believe that to be true, and you're not, it doesn't belong to you, then I must do something with you to exert the truth that this is my land. This is my property. and I believe that to be truth. I should uh, uh, I should control you. I believe that to be truth. And because I believe that to be truth, then I will exert control over you. I will attempt to exert control over you because I believe that to be that fits this thing that we're calling truth. So it's very important for us to, from the perspective of when we see someone behaving, acting from a place of conviction in that they need to do the action that they're doing. It is because that person has a conviction they've made contact with truth. And just like, and we should also feel that when we, especially from this perspective, when we feel that we have encountered someone who is making a claim to truth, and the thing that they're claiming is to be truthful is not truthful from our perspective, we feel, I mean, especially if someone that you care for, someone that who's in your life, and their behavior is something that affects you, right? Then you feel that, wait a minute, okay, right before you do anything, what is going on? Right before you do anything, what is the process that's going on? So and so went through a process to make contact with something that is very important, and they are convinced that they have made that contact. They believe that they have found truth. And from my perspective, knowing from my own experience that when you take something to be true when it is not true, it leads to suffering. It leads to trouble. And from some kind of compassion, some sort of wish for this person to no longer, to not experience suffering, you want to guide this person to find truth, the real truth, not what they thought was the truth, right? So there is something like, imagine it, there is a perception that the person is being misguided, that the person is being deceived. Something is presenting itself falsely to be true when it is not. And it is not some innocent, harmless phenomena taking place. We see it as a very harmful phenomena. It's a very harmful experience. When you take something to be truth when it is not truth, when one is being deceived, one is being led to suffering, to experience suffering. That is a conviction that we say we all have. We could say that is for us a universal truth. By universal truth, I mean there's a feeling that we have about that we all agree we all agree with it. No one believes that deliberate deception is necessarily a good thing. We think of deliberate deception as being most likely a harmful thing. So go from the perspective of just you and someone you care about, right? You and someone you care about, and the person you care about, it seems like there is deception. Deception has entered the space. Either I am being deceived to think that you are being deceived, or you are being deceived. So there is a deception going on. Either I'm the one who's being deceived, you have the truth and I think you don't, or you are being deceived, you're made to think that you have the truth when you don't. Right? Because this is someone you care about, because of the experience we've had with deception, how it leads to suffering. We remember experiences that we've had when we experience suffering because of deception. Out of compassion, out of love for that person, out of concern for that person, we want to engage this. Am I being deceived? Let us engage let us relate with each other in such a way that we both discover that, wait a minute, there is deception or there is no deception. Perhaps I saw just the back of the head and I made an assumption. And the back of the head actually is true with a particular in a particular with a certain set of conditions. Yes, that back of the head is true, but with this particular condition, with this particular set of situation, the back of the head is not necessarily all there is, so it is not necessarily true. So we can see what led to the deception, what could have led to the deception. So what I'm saying is, try not to be too abstract. Perhaps we're not seeing the full thing. We're not seeing all of it. But because we're not seeing all of it, the conclusion that is drawn, we are telling ourselves, wait a minute, there are things missing in order for that conclusion to be true. Or the first part that we see, we immediately associate it with other things that we have associated, that we've experienced with harm. So we say, perhaps there is this deception going on. So the thing is, in the same way, deep within you, deep within us, we trust in the power of truth. And there is a degree of sincerity within us to make contact, to make contact with truth. Allow that degree of allow that for everyone. Think of everyone as being in the same place, that they're not holding on to something to be truthful, deliberately deceiving themselves. They've actually believed that they have found power. They've actually believed that they found what is authentic, what is eventually will benefit them. That's why they hold on to what they're holding on to, whatever that may be. Okay. So the thing is to try to find the common ground that, in essence, we are looking for truth. We are all looking for truth. No one is deliberately abiding in falsehood, knowing that it is falsehood. No one is doing that. Yes, we may not have full conviction that we are fully abiding in truth, but we have at least a degree of, you could say, at least some degree of faith, belief that there is some truth, or there is further truth to be encountered further. So when we take that as the common ground for all beings, take that as the common ground for all beings, the same way you take that as the common ground in a relationship with someone who is very close to you. take that as the common ground between neighborhoods. Take that as a common ground between cultures and societies. Take that as a common ground between nations. They are all acting based on what each believe that I have. They believe that I have taken the path that connects me to truth. I have uh, walked the path that leads to will eventually lead to what would be of benefit. Don't worry about whether we are thinking or they are thinking of benefit to me or benefit to others, but just general benefit. Okay? Like, for example, someone deluded. And why is that? Deluded meaning they believe something to be truthful when it is not. Okay? They believe that harming someone else, not simply because the aim is to see the person being harmed, but it is connected to a conviction that I will be benefited. So the initial impulse is not just to harm the other, but rather seeking what will benefit oneself. But because of delusion, because of being deluded, someone is convinced harming another will give them benefit. Okay. Now, is that true? Is that true? How do we know if that is true? What does that mean? What does that question even mean? Is that true? Now, go into your heart and try to find and try to connect what does that mean when we ask the question, is that true? What will that word be pointing to? What would that word be describing? What is that word looking for when we say, is that true? Is it true that harming someone else by that very act, it can be a cause to benefit me or to benefit someone else? So I'm going to harm you so this person can be benefited. Well, because this has appeared to be true for a lot of people, that is why we are sticking to this as a truth. The reason that countries go into war with other countries, by killing you, I'm benefiting myself. By destroying you, I would benefit myself. That is something that a lot of us, many of us, are holding on to as that is a truth. And what does it mean that that is a truth? What does that mean? Go into your heart, feel. What is it? What are you feeling when you ask yourself that question? Is that true? What is it that your mind is looking for that your mind will say, yes, I have found truth, I've encountered truth. When you're looking for something, you need a description for the thing. What are the descriptions that makes it, yeah, that is worthy of being called truth? Now, when two people are engaged in conflict, and they're each holding a conviction, I went through the process of finding truth, and this is truth. I went through the process of finding truth. This is truth, and then those two truths are in opposition, and one has to overcome the other. But if we can sit back and ask ourselves, what is it that what is it that I really want? What did I want in the first place that started me on this journey of looking for something? What is it that I was lacking? What was it that I experienced as lacking? What was missing that made me go out looking for something that will fill this experience, that will remove this sense of lacking? What is it that is present, that the very presence of it makes me want something else? As it is existing in my present moment, I'm simultaneously not wanting it. And yet, here it is, I'm experiencing it. And it is this experience of feeling lacking something or having something that we do not want to have. And we begin the search. And when we are looking, when do we come to true or not true? When does that word become when does that term become a term that matters to us? I encounter something. Does it fulfill? Does it make me no longer feel lacking? I've encountered an experience where that experience of having something that I do not want to be here, is that gone? Then if the answer is yes, then we say we found the true thing. And we would not say true if we didn't have experiences of encountering things that were promising to be able to do that for us. I will make you feel no longer lacking anything. And you took it on, you still feel lacking. You say, no, we say that is not true. That doesn't fulfill what it is promising. That doesn't give me the experience that I'm deeply looking for. That gives me the experience that I'm deeply looking for. So when we hold on to something to be the truth, we are, in essence, saying, I'm convinced this thing will help me feel no longer lacking. I'm convinced this thing will no longer help me feel stuck to something that I want to be stuck to. That experience, whether later on, the thing that was present that you no longer want, you find yourself no longer having the experience of not wanting it, no longer wanting it to be absent. You're able to live with it without any suffering. But something came in to help with that. All right. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of abstract, but it only seems to be abstract. So don't get lost there. All right. We are going to visit the world of abstract just for a little bit because it is necessary. Okay. We're not going there to live. Okay. There is, and believe me, everything is connected. Everything, even though at times they seem to be disconnected from each other, they're all connected. Okay. They're all connected to this fundamental thing. There is something present that should not be present. There's something that should be present that is not present. That is the most fundamental. That is the drive. Okay? That is the drive that wants us to find truth. Whatever is our experience, whether it's an emotional experience, a physical experience, an energetic experience, a subjective experience, whatever that we are experiencing, this is what is put under the category of conventional. Okay? And I'll connect it to the earlier talk that we did. Whatever is conventional, conventional is simply a term used for we are witnessing interdependence. We are in the midst of the very fabric of reality, which is interdependence. Okay, that's what conventional means. Conventional can be pleasant, conventional can be suffering, conventional can be neutral. All these are ways of experiencing, all these ways of experiencing description of the what is the conventional. Okay. When the experience is happening, okay, when the experience is happening, it is not mere, by mere I mean only. It's not only imagination. And I mean imagination not in a philosophical way. I'm talking about in the actual way that we actually use the word imagination. If I tell you, imagine that you are on a, so you know what imagining means, okay? So as opposed to imagining, you're having an experience that is happening. We call that conventional. That's what conventional means. In a philosophical way, whatever exists through dependence is conventional. Now, saying whatever exists through dependence is conventional makes us think that, oh, what about those things that do not exist through, what about those things that exist without dependence? Or what about those things, are there things that exist without dependence? Ultimate is saying there's no such thing. That's what ultimate is saying. Ultimate is simply saying there is no such thing. There is not an existing subjective experience or emotion. There is not a physical experience. There's not there's not anything that is an experience, that is a happening, that is what we call a happening, that is not a convention. If it is not a convention, it is not something that exists. And don't even mention can exist, because the only way for existence for anything, the very word existence is pointing to dependence. Perhaps there's a universe somewhere where this law is, this is not a law, okay? But the universe we live in, the reality that we live in, the very word existing, the very word reality means the same thing as dependent, existing through dependence. And this is the convention. Now that you understand, there is this perspective of understanding conventional truth. What is a conventional truth? All things got together. That's what it means. Things got together. If things got together, that means there's a reality. And that's a convention. And because different things arise from different things, very similar things can appear. Different things can create similar appearances, right? Different things can get together to create similar appearances, like, a bunch of things here, a bunch of things here, different from each other, and they create similar appearances, similar experiences. And this is where we come up with my truth, your truth kind of thing. Okay? So when we have to sort of like immediately get to an understanding when we hear the word truth. When we hear the word truth, there is a sense of some one thing that's supposed to be everywhere. And we think when someone is mentioning something to be truthful, we think that person is taking that one thing that exists everywhere and is pointing to it. That is not necessarily the case. Truth is not necessarily that. Okay? Because a bunch of different things here, a bunch of different things here, different from different things here, can come together and then have similar appearances in what comes out from their coming together. And because they appear similar and having different things coming together, so their truths will be different. What is the truth? All these things came together. What is the truth? All those things came together. That's this truth. That's this truth. All the things came together. All the things that came together to create this thing came together. That's its conventional truth. Now, because this thing appeared differently and comes from different, they appear similar, and these things come from completely different things coming together than this thing, even though they appear similar. Just because they appear similar, it makes us want to assume that they must have the same, they are the same truth. And that's when we start fighting with each other. We are convinced because they look similar, they must have very same things coming together to create them. The same conventional truth. And when this truthfully saying, oh, this is left hand, and this is truthfully saying right hand coming together, look at that, they make a fist. Oh, they both make something called fist. This one is saying, oh, this one must be right hand too. And this one is saying, this must be left hand too. Hey, right hand. No, I'm not right hand, I'm left hand. Hey, you, left hand. No, I'm not left hand, I'm right hand. Wait a minute, you make a fist. A fist can only come from right hand. And since truth, we have the experience, when we are deceived, suffering is coming. This guy is going to make me suffer, trying to make me deceive me. This guy is going to make me suffer, trying to deceive me. I better protect my truth. And then fight. Fist. Now, accepting this doesn't mean that whenever two things are similar, how would you say that? You cannot just blanketly say because there are different conditions that produce similar appearances. Therefore, you have different truths, conventional truths. We cannot take this and say, therefore, there are different ultimate truths. Remember, there's only one ultimate truth. What is that one ultimate truth? Everything that's conventional are things that came together. There is no such thing as a conventional that there is not things coming together. That's what ultimate is saying. So to say there are different ultimate truth is to say, yes, indeed, there are things, there are realities that do not have anything coming together to make it happen. Whether it's subjective, whether it's physical, whether it's energetic. And because just like we were confused with, yeah, it's a fist. It's a fist too. It must be the same conventional truth. It must be the very same thing coming together. And because we think that we experience that as truth, then that's when we throw into, we get confused about ultimate and conventional. And this, let's, if we, there's a temptation that if it's complicated, it will be more valuable. The simpler the simpler you keep it, the better. Just keep it simple. Okay, just keep it simple. Try not to make it complicated. Now, and the thing with now connecting this will with conflicts in the world. What does conventional truth and ultimate truth have to do with conflicts in the world? What does it have to do with conflicts in the home? There is confusing the two, making what is conventional, trying to make it into ultimate, or vice versa. Remember, whatever experience you are having, if it is called an experience, it is conventional. If the existence that you're experiencing is suffering, this convention is called samsara. When the existence that you are experiencing has no suffering whatsoever, doesn't even have the potential for suffering anymore, that is not ultimate. That's where people get confused with ultimate and conventional. Ultimate is not that which is not suffering, and conventional that which is suffering. That is not the distinction between those two. Ultimate is simply the truth about convention. And convention is simply your experience. So when your experience doesn't have, when it's complete, even the potential for suffering has been removed, This convention is called freedom. It's called nirvana. Nirvana is not ultimate. The word nirvana can sometimes be used as a poetic substitute for ultimate. Like your ultimate nature is nirvana. But as an experience of being, it is not, that experience is conventional. It is not ultimate. The Buddha lens or the pure lens are not ultimates. They are conventions. They are conventionals. Okay. So when I'm going to describe samsara a different way, when we keep adding to, when we keep trying to add to reality, trying to make reality better. And when we say reality, I'm not talking about my experience, but when we're thinking about the fun, like thinking an attempt to take the fabric of reality and trying to change it, trying to change the fundamental fabric of reality, trying to add to it. What do I mean by that? We conflate happiness with what is referred to as meditative bliss. Meditative bliss is not happiness. Okay, perhaps some people might switch the words. Happiness, what I'm pointing to when I'm using the word happiness is a coming together of different things that create a pleasant experience. A coming together, a dependently arisen phenomena, a bunch of things coming together, and then the product that comes out of it is what we call happiness. Okay, that is happiness. Bliss is confusing because it looks like a happiness, but bliss is simply take away all the elaborations. Take away all the elaborations that we're trying to impose on the fabric of reality. That very space absent of all these elaboration, that very space itself is bliss. So the bliss that we contact when we are in meditation and go deeper and deeper, and it gets much more deeper, we're not necessarily encountering something, but rather we are letting go of what we've been grasping on to give us bliss. That's what I mean by adding. The fundamental fabric of reality is already bliss, not as a reward kind of thing. Oh, nice of you to visit the fundamental nature of reality. Here's a little gift for you. Take it with you. That's not what it is. It is the very fabric itself, unelaborated, without any projection on what it's supposed to be, but rather as it is, that very space itself. It just happens to be when we want to talk about the experience, we don't want to relay the experience to someone else. We have to use concepts. We have to use experiences that comes close to it. And happiness is the thing that comes close to it. So we're basically saying it feels like happiness, but it is not the same as happiness. It's not the things you put a couple of things together, boom, you got bliss. But rather allowing the very nature of reality to just be what it is. And that statement itself is packed with stuff, okay? And a lot of practices are completely misunderstood from that statement, okay? But we're not going to go there. So when we have finally gotten rid of all our misunderstandings about our experiences, I'm no longer misunderstanding my experience. I am no longer projecting what my experience should be rather than letting it be what it is. When I'm no longer doing that and I'm abiding in that, and that is my experience, that is my new conventional reality. That is my experience. That is the coming together. My consciousness has removed the misunderstanding, the ignorance. And the very absence of that, and just to talk to you about it, just to talk to someone else about it, we use the word bliss. But we are very familiar with bliss as something that come in the conventional world where everything's sort of come together. Things come and then they create it. But this bliss itself is just, that's what the space is, you could say. That's what it is. Okay. Because there's no more struggling. There's no more something present that I don't want to be present anymore. There's no more something is missing, something is lacking. There's no more of that experience. When we are in that experience, nothing is lacking, nothing present should be removed. And that itself, that experience is experienced as bliss. And that is why it is said the fundamental nature of every experience is bliss itself. It's not that there is a very happy experience that should be connected with whatever is going on. Oh, look at the nice bombs falling on those families. Oh, that's blissful. That's not what it means. Okay. All right. There's this conversation I want to bring up. And it is with, I think there was some sort of, I don't know, philosopher, Western philosopher who wanted to state that there's no such thing as truth. There's no truth. Truth doesn't exist. And refuse to say, you mean there's no one conventional truth? Or you mean there isn't there's no such thing as a universal truth, something that is true for everything. And to to the point of saying perhaps there is a convention where it is not, there is reality, there is experience of reality where there is no convention, there is no coming together of things. There is a reality where there is no coming together of things. And we just haven't found it yet. So we cannot say universally that that is true. So from that perspective, that person, the philosopher, said, there is no such thing as universal truth. And then And what's the question that that makes that statement fall apart? Is that true? So by trying to deny such a thing as a universal truth, one is stating a universal truth. So you can get away from it. Okay. So now, before before we end, before we go to the other diversions, remember whether it is in the house or whether it is among nations, each individual, each group, each uh, whatever designation, whatever designated parts is calling itself a thing, a person, a group. As that group, there is the conviction that I am on the path of truth, meaning I have made connection with the most powerful object in the universe because it will benefit me. It will bring benefit. And if we take that into consideration when we engage in dialogue with someone else, that they are seeking truth also. And the reason that they are being very defensive is because they're convinced they have found truth. At least uh, try to meet them, at this common ground, that you both have not just a wish for truth, but a need for truth. It's not, I mean, people who talk about truth, there are people who read a lot and that kind of stuff. It's not, seeking truth is not just someone just an intellectual game, an intellectual pastime. Uh, just like Jason Kappa said, well, not exactly, he didn't exactly say those words, but I'm going to use a phrase that he said in my own way. Even the cow is looking for truth. Okay. What is it that knowing it will have benefit me? If I believe that will benefit me, I think I have found truth. So let's begin conversation. How, if you encounter someone who believes who's convinced that they have truth, and you are convinced they do not have it, how can you relate with each other without becoming enemies? So instead of you asking me that question, I'm asking you that question. Go ahead.
Uh, okay, so I think it's like going to what truth actually is,
Mm.
which is I think when you encounter someone, I think there's a certain quality about truth that involves looking for agreement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So different parts coming together, agreeing. So if the other person, if I think I found an ultimate truth and it's revealed to me that the other person doesn't agree with that, I think in that is proof
So
that I haven't found an ultimate truth.
if you found ultimate truth, if you believe you found ultimate truth, and the other
Yes.
person,
And the other person doesn't agree with me,
mm,
I think that's proof that
you have not found
I,
ultimate
I
truth.
haven't found ultimate truth.
Hmm. Is that true?
Okay, no. Okay. Okay, no. Okay, this is where it gets a bit tricky because there are some things that I think about, like in the realm of science, like stuff like gravity, where I guess when it was a cutting edge technology that was discovered, right? When it was a new thing, this idea of like these fundamental forces that are acting on things. There were people who disagreed with that. In that example, I think this what I was saying kind of falls apart.
Okay. Well, yeah, actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. Because I think there's a kind of a global acceptance that there exists multiple truths that are each ultimate. And because of that, now you find people who are having exactly the same experience, right? The thing fell. And I'm just using a word, oh, let's call that gravity. And to say there's no such thing as gravity is to say, no, that experience wasn't shared by me. And then the person is going around throwing things. So it is okay to disagree on the term, the explanation, but the actual experience that people have actually witnessed and experienced together, to completely deny that and calling that some sort of like there's no such thing as gravity. You may not agree with the explanation of the apple falling. You may not agree with the explanation that gravity that's connected with the explanation of gravity, but you cannot completely use that to say there's no such thing as the thing falling, right? So, and to say that in my universe, even though we live in the same place, um, uh, if I uh, if I throw water at you, you get wet, right? We live in the same universe. We have shared experiences. You can't say that we have different ultimate truths. We may have different conventional truths. What makes you sad doesn't necessarily make me sad. What makes you happy doesn't necessarily make me happy. Different conventional truths. I'm really happy with those things. You're really sad with those things. Different conventional truths. I'm really sad and you're really happy. But ultimate truths, to say that, to take that to the realm of also ultimate truths, that's where we run into trouble. Remember, um, seeking truth, when we are seeking what we're not looking for it because we simply want it. We seek it because we need it. It fulfills a need. And those of us who are very reluctant to let go of what we think is the truth, is that we are terrified of being deprived of the benefit that we fought hard to get. We think that we are getting, or we don't want to lose the benefit that we think is promised to us. because we needed it. So definitely you can have a perception where you are perceiving ultimate truth, and others may not necessarily agree with you. That doesn't mean that you have not found ultimate truth. I mean, there is also that kind of a school nowadays where somebody's presenting it towards every uh, every institution that exists, religious, scientific, whatever it may be, social. They say none of them have found ultimate truth. Because if any one of them had indeed found ultimate truth, everyone would have just immediately agreed with them. There is that kind of a school of thought going around. It may be true.
It's okay. So my question is,
Mm.
and it's a bit of a confusion that I have about the definition of what existence is according to uh, one of the tenet systems.
Mhm.
Uh, and it's that which can be validly cognized,
Yeah,
an existing thing.
yeah.
When I think about a truth that someone, like a reality that someone hasn't arrived at yet,
Mhm.
like the gravity example, they haven't arrived at the, I don't know if that's a good example, but someone doesn't have the capacity, hasn't developed the capacity to
Mhm.
maybe reason in a certain way where they can come to the same conclusion that you came to,
Mhm.
even though it might be uh, ultimate truth.
Mhm.
But the person just doesn't develop the capacity to reason. For that person, if the definition that existing thing is that which can be validly cognized, if I'm validly cognizing this thing through this skill that I've been taught and I've developed, and the person that I'm talking to doesn't have that ability, could you say that that truth doesn't exist for that person?
Mhm. No. Yeah, there is yeah. The way to understand it is not that it is validly cognized, but rather validly cognizable. It's not only when it's validly cognized does it then it meets the criteria of existing, but rather meets the criteria of existing that it is validly cognizable. Like there are many things that exist right here, right now that we have not cognized. Just because we have not cognized them doesn't mean that they do not exist. But you can also understand cognizable as interactable. If it can interact with any other thing, that's also validly cognizable. Uh, these tiny little sparks of light or whatever that the scientists see with the big microscopes, electron or whatever those things are. We are not perceiving them directly with our eyes. So prior to having those machines that helps us to see them, did they not exist? Did they suddenly come into existence with the creation of those big machines? So those big machines created the atomic world. The atomic world didn't exist prior to that. It will be the same thing as saying there are people who actually have this frame view of the world, of reality. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. Specifically, if I don't see it, it does not exist. And they say, for me, until I see it, then it exists. It's a very personal, it's like a cosmic selfishness. Huh? If it doesn't bother me, it doesn't exist. You can take it that way, right? Your suffering doesn't bother me, so your suffering doesn't exist for me. So I don't have to do anything about it. Mm. Yes.
Hi, I think this is an amazing talk. Thank you so much. I'm having a thought I want to share and ask what you think.
Mhm.
So obviously I've been very affected, like everyone, about this conflict all over the world. And part of me sees like these two fists, like the right and the left fist fighting. And if one is saying, I'll chop off your fist, and then the other saying, I'll chop off your fist, and both don't have their fists anymore. And they've depleted every source of what they found to be true to this sort of there's no end, but like some end where both are feeling through empathy, harm, compassion, love, all these other kind of vehicles and emotions. Can that help people recognize each other's truth? Like through making you suffer, I have expanded my suffering. I haven't healed it because I believe I know the right religion or the right truth, but ultimately your suffering has led to my own. So if I'm bombing where you live, that has poisoned the water I drink. And
Mhm.
maybe I won't know the truth in this life, but maybe in the next generation. Or you know what I mean? Like I just feel like there's got to be something with the conflict between the truth and
Yeah.
the harm. There's a transmutation or something there.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I want to hear it if
Mhm.
those are some thoughts I'm having. I just want to hear what you think about that.
Yeah. As you were saying that, I was feeling very sad
Yeah.
because it seems to be the path, right?
Yes.
The way for us to stop chopping each other's head off is to chop each other's head off to see that it doesn't lead to what we think it's going to lead to.
Yes.
Chopping
Exactly.
each other's head off only leads to chopping each other's head off.
Yeah. And your kid's head off and
Yeah.
this it's just like I just want to say this is what I think is the truth. Like I think everyone needs water and food and shelter and love. So something about rights and safety and that feels like truth. I
Mhm.
don't think that's the universal truth. I think that is conventional truth, but like where are we now that after thousands of years of this teachings and consciousness where we can't even see
Mhm.
killing another person's baby is bad? Like that to me it's like it's actually like mind blowing. Like how can I have a conversation with you if someone thinks that, how am I gonna change? Like that
Mhm.
is so crazy. I would never hurt any, it's just so that's kind of where I feel the struggle here.
Yeah. So you're pointing to something that seems to be completely disconnected, but what you're pointing to is you have what is referred to as a unique, precious life because you're able to have this realization. And now it's for you, it's not simply a nice idea that is rolling in your mind while you're acting differently, but it's something that actually moves you to act, to behave. So you are extremely precious and lucky. The world is extremely precious and lucky to have people like you walking on this planet thinking this way.
Thank you.
Because It is rare. There are some people who flirt with the idea, but unfortunately they get trapped with habit. They go back to doing the same old thing. So just in perspective, in relationship to the world, just know that what you have is precious. Cherish it. This is what needs to be protected. This idea, this thought. And it didn't just come to you by accident.
Mm. It makes people very angry. I feel like when the anger is part, we've talked about rage, we've talked about truth, we've talked about love, we've talked about so many things. But we live in such an angry, rageful time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I meditate, I want to burn this with my own rage, like in our meditation that we did together. And it's just like, how can we get millions to do that with
You
us?
start with
That's like
one.
what? Like we're 5 people here. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. Like this is like you're saying things that are so amazing. And when I see your faces, I'm so happy. Like, but yeah, thank you for saying everything is all I want to say.
Start with one.
Yeah.
Start with one.
Yeah.
And because it is a truth for you, and that's the beautiful thing about a quality about truth. Truth, I've said it before, truth is a diva. Truth wants to be seen. Truth wants to be examined.
I
If
have to
what
put it in a book.
is truth is afraid of being looked at, then most likely it is not truth.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Truth is
So,
and if it's afraid of being looked at, it's likely not the truth.
so if someone is presenting something as truth and they're afraid of presenting it, there's something within them that tells them, perhaps I'm holding on to a lie and I don't want to suffer that truth that I'm holding on to a lie. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that. Oh my goodness. I should let you guys go. Masanda, you had another question or wanted to ask?
Yes. I don't know how you knew that. But when you mentioned that there's something about truth that when you find it, uh, you get set free. How does that connect to? It sounds like a passage from In Praise of Dharmadhatu. What is? Yeah, I guess that was my other question.
Yeah, exactly. Um, if you look at every endeavor, every endeavor in life, no matter what it is, no matter what the institution, no matter what where it's coming from, there is a search to know something. And the reason that we are looking for to know it is because once we know it, then a condition will be taken care of. The lacking will be gone. That is present that shouldn't be there will be gone. If you're sick, you need to know what medicine to take. So there is a knowing that will help you. If I know what medicine to take, it will help me with this. I need uh, I'm going to give a very materialistic example. I need to drive, I don't know, a Bentley. So there's something, if I come to know it, it will help me be able to drive a Bentley. And I'm seeking to know that, whatever that is. And now take that, make it more essential, rather than knowing how to help a headache, how to help whatever, but this very existence where I'm experiencing limitations and I'm feeling the drive to go beyond my limitation. If there's something, if I knew it, it will help me go beyond these limitations. And this thing that if I were to know it, it will help me in this way, that's what the Dharma Dhatu comes in. If I, there's, there is a truth, something that actually, there's also the truth of agreement with its nature. The way it is expressed is in agreement with its nature. That's also truth. There is that understanding that is in agreement with the nature of things, that when I know that, I will be free of my limitations. All right.
Okay.
I have to let you go now. Thank you so much. Wonderful questions for participating. And let's fight with our truth in the way that we know fighting, the way fighting can really be done, by being open, by allowing compassion to motivate us, by allowing love to connect us. Okay. Let's do closing meditation. Holding the intention to meditate, allow that intention to fill your entire being. Beginning to taste the very experience of meditation in the body itself, the calm, the pleasantness, in the breath, in the mind. Rejoice. Again, let your mind remember space. Isn't it incredible? We are directly perceiving a non-appearance. Just like physical space is total lack of object, let that remind us of the fundamental nature with its total lack of appearance, of convention. The very possibility, just like the space is a possibility for an object to occupy, think of the fundamental nature as a possibility for any appearance, any experience. And as we stay there, feel the fundamental interconnectedness. And feel our circle completely absorbed into this understanding of pure interconnectedness. Where our limited concerns for just what we call our body is free. Now it's universal. And feel that same level of concern for the safety of your body and mind. You feel it for the safety of all bodies, all minds. We feel it for all appearance, for sky, for ocean, for mountain. Feel the might of that. Feel the truth of that. Feel how it actually fulfills its promise. And let it radiate to all minds everywhere. The truth that we are all is interconnectedness. The truth that this concern being freed for others' happiness fulfills all promises. So the safety one seeks in destroying another is truly achieved when we seek safety for all of us. Let that radiate from you. Let it burn into the hearts and minds of everyone. Feel and see that concern, that freed expression of love and compassion radiating from you like light. See it entering the hearts and minds of the leaders of the world. Without losing that understanding, let go of the appearance of non-appearance. Come back to the appearance of bodies sitting in a circle. And knowing when I sincerely help myself, I sincerely help all. When I sincerely help all, I sincerely help myself. Feel the meditative state, the calm, the pleasantness, rejoice, the clarity, the radiance, rejoice, the level of focus, rejoice. Feel the merit energy of this meditation and dedicate it. And get ready to come out. Knowing you're meditating, rejoice. You're going to come out of meditation. Gently, fully breathe in. Breathe out. And as you breathe out, let yourself deliberately reconnect with your immediate surroundings with a sense of touch, the sense of hearing, the sense of sight. Thank you very much.